The room at the end of the hall, it was an ordinary rental, or so Eric thought. A small, affordable apartment in an older building that had seen better days. The landlord had only one warning: don't open the door at the end of the hall. It's locked for a reason. Eric laughed it off. Every old place had its quirks. As he settled in, the apartment was quiet, too quiet. No neighbors, no street noise, just an unsettling stillness that seemed to creep into every corner. On his second night, Eric was jolted awake by the sound of faint scratching. It was coming from the locked door. He froze, his heart pounding in his chest. The noise stopped as suddenly as it started. The next day, he pressed his ear against the door, but all he heard was silence. Curiosity gnawed at him. What was the big deal about this room? By the third night, the scratching returned, louder this time. He couldn't ignore it anymore. Armed with a screwdriver, he pried at the lock until it gave way. The door creaked open, revealing a pitch-black room that smelled of damp earth. Eric's flashlight illuminated a small, empty space with cracked walls and a single wooden chair in the center. Relief washed over him. There was nothing here. But as he turned to leave, he heard a whisper. "Sit." The voice was low and guttural, like it came from deep underground. Eric froze, his flashlight trembling in his hand. He convinced himself it was his mind playing tricks, but when he turned back, the chair wasn't empty anymore. A figure sat hunched over, its back to him, its skin pale and stretched tightly over its bones. It let out a soft, wheezing breath. Eric's flashlight flickered, and when it steadied, the figure was gone. But he wasn't alone. The door slammed shut behind him, and the whisper came again, this time, right next to his ear. "Your turn." The next morning, the landlord found the door to the apartment wide open. Eric's belongings were untouched, but he was gone. The only sign of him was a single wooden chair in the locked room at the end of the hall. And when the landlord tried to move it, it wouldn't budge.